everyone, it's Amy. We're live for this month's aha moments. So when you come on, please say hi. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. My daughter was doing this race called a Tough Mudder. If you know what one is, give me a thumbs up or a 1 and let me know if you've ever done, hey Petra! Let me know if you've ever done a Tough Mudder. Tough Mudder, she did a 10-mile one. They had a 5-mile and a 10-mile. And she did a 10-mile one after spending like 14 hours coming back from China last night. So not only is the race difficult, but then she's got jet lag on top of it. Crazy, crazy. Hey Debbie, hi Cheryl. How are you guys? So I was there, I was taking photographs, I was not doing the race. It's a race where it has about 26 obstacles and you jump and crawl through mud. Not my thing. I did the Spartan race with her, but the mud thing just doesn't really turn me on. Hey Melissa! Yay! I'm so glad you made it! And so we were in the car. They were all like starving after the race. Hang on, I'm trying to get my water. Starving after the race. So they wanted to stop and get Chipotle, and I'm like, so we were able to squeeze that in and still be able to get here. And yes, I am in my workout room. I am in my workout room so that they can have me not like chatting in their ear. Just trying to get situated. So, yeah, mud runs, Cheryl, you guys do those color runs out in California. I've not done one of those. But that's not mud, right? Is that the one where they like throw colored powder on you? I think that's the one that they throw colored powder on you. Sorry. So yeah, it took them her and her two friends, it took them 3.5 hours, which wasn't really bad considering it was 10 miles and she is extremely jet lagged. So, let's see. Oh, you did a mud run too? Hey, they throw colored chalk. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I have to say that I did a Spartan stadium race and I'm doing a Spartan like outdoor race with Morgan at the end of the month. And she really wants me to do this mud thing. I don't know that I'm gonna do it. But anyway, so that's why I'm a little bit late, so I apologize. And this month is so exciting. This is the stuff that you guys were asking me for last month when we were talking about the interviewing a doctor and, making sure that you are your own advocate for your health. You guys were asking me, hey Debbie, you guys were asking me about cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is something that I have struggled and battled with since like I was early 20s. And they would scratch, even back then, they would just scratch their head and say, I don't really get why you got high cholesterol. And at that time it was like 207 or 210 or something. And they said, it's fine, it's high, but you're okay. And then as I've gotten older, it has gone up. And now I just had it tested, like 3 weeks ago. I just got my test results back and it's still at 275. Now, the good news is that my good cholesterol, otherwise known as HDL, was really high, but my LDL is also really high. And so a lot of you were asking me about, what to do and some information on cholesterol. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not in the medical field. This is something that I have chosen to decide for me based on the information that I have gathered. This might not be right for you, and this is stuff that you need to check with your doctors and decide on whether it's right for you. But I wanted to share with you what I have done, tests that I have run, and what I've decided not to do. Now, let me start off with not to do. I know that many doctors, when your cholesterol gets up to like 275, which is where mine is, they want you on statins, and they want you on statins fast, especially because my mother had triple bypass surgery about 2-3 years ago, and my grandfather had like triple bypass surgery, and so they're concerned about me having heart conditions. Now, I do not take statins. I'm just gonna come clean and say I don't take them. I've never taken them. They make me nervous. This is me being honest. They make me nervous. For those of you who don't know, this is something that was shocking to me, that a doctor can prescribe statins and not let you know that you need to go every 3 to 4 months and get your blood work done to make sure that your kidneys and liver are functioning properly, because the side effect of statins could be harming those organs. And so you need to go get tests done every 4 months when you're on that. And again, don't take my word for it, Google it, but somebody in this group has informed me that their doctor did not tell them that. So if you are on statins, and if you've chosen to be on statins, please, please, please make sure that you get that blood work done every quarter, or at least every 6 months, to make sure that it's not damaging your organs and doing more harm than good. So that's number one. So I don't take statins. Look, my mother was on statins for, I don't know, goodness, 30 plus years, and she still needed bypass surgery. So why do that? That's mine. That's me. Again, that might not be you. But so I've chosen not to take statins. So what do I do? First of all, I will tell you that for me, when my weight is low, my cholesterol numbers go down. So for those of you who are looking to lose or release some weight, that could be a really big why. Your big why would be because you don't want to take statins and you want to get your cholesterol levels down. It does work that way with most people. I am under the impression that when you lower your weight, your cholesterol numbers come down. And I know a lot of people are like, Amy, you don't look like you need to lose weight. But when I drop, like from where I'm at now, if I could drop like 15, 18 pounds, my numbers would drop. Although I did do it once and they didn't drop drastically. They dropped like 25 points, which sounds drastic, but it's still 250 and it's still really high for what the doctors want your number to be. So just know that that could be an incentive and a reason for you to be aware and very careful about the things that you're doing in order to try and take off a couple of pounds. So that's another thing that I have done. I've tried to keep my weight down, but I mean it's a little crazy. Let's see what else. Oh, one thing I wanted to let you know that some people didn't know is that if you decide to take cholesterol meds, do not eat grapefruit. I'm going to repeat that. If you're taking statins, make sure you do not take grapefruit. It has some sort of side effect. Again, not a medical person. Please look it up. But if you're on statins, do not do grapefruit and get your blood work done quarterly. So in case you don't know that. Now, I want to make sure I want to go over that. Liver damage. Okay, so what else have I done? Besides having my blood work done, I actually have a doctor that says, Amy, why are you testing for cholesterol if you're not going to do anything about it anyway? I test just because I want to know. But yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it. Especially because not only do they run the test for your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, and your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, but a lot of times they give you what's called your ratio. And my ratio is right smack in the middle of normal where it needs to be, which is one of the reasons why I decided not to take statins. Okay, so when you're having your blood test done, make sure that they're not just testing for your HDL and your LDL or your VLDL or whatever the heck, but make sure they're doing a ratio. And then you can see if you're in that ratio range. But that's one of the reasons why I decided not to take them, is because my good cholesterol is so high that it counteracts the bad cholesterol and gives me a ratio that's spot on. So that's one of the things that I look at, more so than the number of the bad cholesterol. I look at the ratio. The other thing that I do is I do a thermography scan. Now, for those of you who don't know what a thermography scan is, please Google it and determine whether or not it's something that sounds like something you would want to do. I do them once a year. I actually do one from head to toe, and it can see things that are changing at a cellular level before tests can, before a mammogram picks something up, before things start looking wonky. You can see things changing. It is not intrusive. It is something that you get naked and they take pictures, and it has like heat sensors down on a cellular level, and then you actually have a medical doctor, not some naturopath, which there's nothing wrong with naturopaths. This is somebody who is a medical doctor. For those of you who are concerned about having somebody who is licensed and educated, they are educated and licensed medical doctors that review the thermography scans and tell you what is looking a little bit out of place. And for me, I do the whole body. And that way I can see thyroid, I can see breasts, I can see if I've got, I get blue, my fingers and toes show up blue because I have poor circulation in my extremities. And so that kind of stuff shows up as well. So I get a thermography scan every year, and then I take that thermography scan to my functional medical doctor, which is what we talked about last month, and we go over it and we determine whether or not I need any other further tests for whatever that might show. Now, that is one thing that I do for overall. It doesn't necessarily show cholesterol, but something that I do for cholesterol, this is a trick. Not a trick, but this is something that a lot of people have no idea about. And to be honest, I had no idea about it either. When I go to the eye doctor, which I do every year to get my eyes examined, she does not dilate my eyes anymore. And actually, she has never dilated my eyes since I started going to her. What she does is she has this, I wrote it down so I can tell you. It is called Optos, Optos, and it's retinal photos. Retinal photos. So what you do is that she has this machine, and you put your eyeball up to it, and you have to get it just right, and click, and it takes a picture, and it takes a picture of your eyeball. And she does both of them, and then in the exam, she can show you all of the blood vessels in your eyes, and that is the first place where cholesterol and calcium buildup in your arteries will appear. So I get that done every year, and every year they are clean as a whistle. There is no buildup. So reason number 2 why I don't take statins. Okay, so the first reason is my ratio is looking good, and the second reason is because I get the retinal scans done every year. And so we can also compare them year to year. And like I said, there's no buildup in the arteries, which makes me feel a lot better about making that decision. The other thing that I did was after my mother had her triple bypass, it was a really scary situation. Thank God she didn't have a heart attack. They got to it in time, but she was pretty blocked in most of her arteries. So after that, I went to a cardiologist and I had a stress test done. So if you're concerned about this, if you've had high cholesterol, you might want to consider getting a stress test done. But in addition to the stress test, which by the way turned out totally normal and fine, I also had, hang on, it's called a CT calcium score. A CT calcium score. It's a CT scan that you get of your heart, and you want the score to be 0. You want it to have no calcium built up in your heart. So after my mom had that bypass surgery, I got my stress test, which turned out perfect, and then I got my CT calcium score, which was 0, which again supported my decision to not do anything about that high number. It is something that you may want to repeat. I will repeat every 5 years to make sure that there still is no calcium being built up, but I feel pretty confident because I go get my eyes checked and they do that retinal scan every year. So, you know, if it started to look kind of wonky in my eyes, I would probably follow up with a CT calcium scan for my heart. But it's not something that you need to do every year, especially if it comes back with 0 and your stress test comes back normal. So those are some other things that I have done to help aid me in my decision on whether or not to take statins. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? I think that was about it. So I'm going to go back through. Let me know if you have any questions about the things that I've shared. I will tell you that I've had high cholesterol now. I've lost track. Wait a second. Let me do the math. We're 2019, so I'm 54. So I'm 54, and I've had it since I was like 20, 22. So I've had high cholesterol a long time. Now, not quite as high as 275. 275 has probably been in like the last 10 years. It was at 255 for quite a long time, and then it just jumped, and we have no idea why, because I eat really clean, and I don't eat salad dressings, and I exercise, so they think it's just genetic for me. And, you know, and there's been a lot of studies that say that cholesterol levels are not a really good indicator on whether or not you're going to get heart disease. So they're finding out some new things with the studies that they have been doing, and so, you know, you might want to check into that as well. If you decide to do statins, just be aware that there are side effects. I know that people have had like leg cramps and muscles, you know, spasms and things along those lines. And if you experience that, you need to let your doctor know, because they can change your meds in order to try and lessen or alleviate that symptom, whatever it is that might be bothering you. So let me see. I'll go back around and see what the comments are. Let's see. Oh, Sita, you're here. Hey. Let's see. Amount is a calculation error, so I'm worrying about that. Mine is high, but in the normal range according to the correct number. Never take any cholesterol meds, no way. My doctor tried but failed. Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't see the benefit. Not after my mom took them for so long and still had the issue. Hey Vicky, hey Or. My old doctor had me on them, but my new doctor said there are other factors to take into consideration with high-risk possibilities. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad that he took you off them. That's awesome, Cheryl. Oh, thank you, Or. Thank you. Sorry. The whole time I'm like white out. Now I know. You know, my mom says that every day you learn something new, and the day that you don't is the day that you die. So I am happy to say, here is my something new. Thank you, Or. I did not know that. Hey, Charlene. Oh, Charlene, that is so nice. Especially since I'm still a little bit jet lagged from that Italy trip. Yeah, I thought that I would be able to bounce back, but my daughter's bouncing back way better than me. 12 hours difference in China, and the kid comes back with 2 hours of sleep, sleeps for about, 7 hours, and gets up and runs 10 miles in the mud. Oh, I love her. Oh, thanks. I've decided to grow it out. So thanks. I fight with it on a regular basis. So thanks for that. Cheryl, yours was up to 328. Wow. Were you able to get it down, or did they have you do any follow-up tests? And do you feel any different? Just curious. Back aches or, let's see. The cholesterol lie. Thanks, Pedro. Have you read it? Have you read the cholesterol lie? Let us know. Let us know what it says and whether or not you like it. Hey, Linda. Nice. I'm so glad you're able to join us. Oh, Charlene, you're so kind. Oh, girl, you keep those rose-colored glasses on. Thank you, though. Took 2 kinds of statins, or you took 2 kinds. I'm going to be looking for those tests you recommended. Yeah, because at least if nothing else, or it gives you peace of mind. If you do a stress test and you come through with flying colors and you do that CT calcium score test and you come back with no buildup, there's really no support to go on the statins. And this was me sitting out in the sun. Yeah. It was, it's absolutely beautiful here, and there was it was the place that they held that Tough Mudder was a state park that I had, it's only 10, 15 minutes from my house, and I didn't even know it existed. It is beautiful. It has all these trees and these lakes, and P.S. I need to go back with Duncan and go for a hike in there. It's absolutely breathtaking. Well, not as pretty as Italy with the mountains, but it's pretty nice looking. And then when we went to leave, it started to get steamy, and it's now like 90. Oh, for those 90 degrees Fahrenheit. 90 is 45, so what is that, 22 and a half? About 22 Celsius. Yeah. Hey, Joanne. I'm reading your comments, Cheryl. Yeah, I will tell you, like I said, the thing that lowers it is, believe it or not, cardio lowers it. When I do cardio regularly, like I have an elliptical, you guys. So if I don't do it regularly, the elliptical, but if I do the elliptical regularly and I take off a couple pounds, it usually really lowers the cholesterol somewhat. You're on, Sita. Come on over. I'd love to have you join us. So that's what I wanted to share with you about cholesterol. I think that a lot of times, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law had this thing, or still have this thing with doctors. As they don't challenge them, they don't question them. They feel that they're all knowing, and I will say that they know more than me about a lot of things. But one thing that they don't know more about is me. And I know the most about me, and so I need to take into consideration their knowledge and see how that works for me. Now, my mother and father-in-law did not believe in asking questions, did not believe in, or do not believe, well, my father-in-law has passed, but my mother-in-law, I don't think to this day really asks a whole lot of questions. It's that whole thing, if you question your meal, the waiter spits in your food. Well, he didn't want to question the doctors for fear that, that he wouldn't he wouldn't help, the doctor wouldn't help him, or he would miss it. I don't know, but they were of the opinion and the mindset that they don't question doctors. And when I first met my husband, I had a situation, an illness. I was sick for a very long time. And I would go to this doctor and he would say, oh, I think you have this. And I'd come home and John would say, well, what did he say? And I said, he's crazy. And he goes, what did he say? And I would tell him what he said. And he goes, well, maybe, I was like, no, I do not have that. And he's crazy. He didn't listen to me, or she didn't listen to me. And so I went and he goes, why do you go to doctors and ask all these questions and then don't do what they say? I said, if they can tell me without a shadow of a doubt why they want me to do this, and it makes sense to me, I'm on board. But a lot of them are just shooting in the dark half the time. And for me, I don't fit in a box. I never have. I get wonky symptoms, and we can try and knock off the most obvious things first, but 9 times out of 10, it's not the most common thing. It's some sort of weird, unrelated, unthought of thing. Like, I'll give you an example. I was sick for 7 years. They thought I had chronic fatigue. They thought I had, they thought I had the flu. They thought I was depressed. They thought I broke out in yeast all over my body. They thought it was an allergic reaction. In the end, it was a parasite that I had picked up when I was in Rio for the weekend when I had a salad. So, and I just went from doctor to doctor to doctor and had blood tests and biopsies, and I had yeast infections for like 3.5 weeks out of the month. I was miserable. I was so tired with a newborn and an 18-month-old, and I would go to these doctors and they would tell me that I have these like weird things, or that it was all in my head, and I just wanted to flip them the bird and say, like, I really want to feel sick. I've got 2 little kids and no help, and I just want to lay in bed all day. Come on. That's just this side of crazy. And so, I do question doctors, and I do a lot of my own research, and because I've determined that I know what's best for me, and you need to educate me on what you know so that I can be informed and make informed decisions and not just go blindly. I'm not like the mice from the Pied Piper. So I encourage you to, educate yourselves. I'm not saying not listen to doctors. I think doctors are incredibly intelligent. They know a shit ton more than me. I just ask them to share that knowledge with me and why they, come up with the conclusion that they do, so that I can be educated and that I can help my kids when they start having those symptoms, or people like you, when you start having symptoms, I can say, I had something similar. They thought it was this and it was that. So if it's not what you think it is, maybe test for something else. Learning is not a bad thing. So, all right, I'm getting off my soapbox. Let's see. What else did you guys tell me? You don't know what a stress test. Yeah, you need to get it from a cardiologist. Or a stress test is they put you on a treadmill and they strap these things on so they can see how your heart does when under stress. So they'll make it they'll increase the incline, they'll make it go faster, and they want to see how your heart beats, how your blood pressure is, and how quickly you recover. And they do this stress test for I don't remember how many minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And so they can determine how your heart is doing when it's under stress like that, to see if you've got clogged arteries, and then they can then follow it up. Because obviously if your arteries are clogged, when you start putting your heart under stress like that, it has to work harder to get the blood through the vessels. And if it's not clogged, then it doesn't. And then they can follow it up with that scan that I did. But here in the States, or is in Israel. So here in the States, a cardiologist does that in his office. Let's see. Yes, Charlene, always question doctors. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you is that cool eye test that I do. Guess how much it costs me? $35. $35. And I don't need to have my eyes dilated where you can't drive and you can't go out in the sun. And they can see everything. They can see glaucoma. They can see detached retina. They can see everything with those exams. So if your doctor, if your eye doctor doesn't currently have one, try and find somebody that does, because it is awesome. And I'm always fascinated when she shows me, because we look at it together and she shows me how they look. Let's see. Oh, hey, Melissa, tell Randy I say hi. Oh, Jeannie, hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Same here. I question doctors all the time. Exactly, Pedro. You're right. Charlene, they're only human and they only know what they know. And so there's a lot of things that they may not know. Just like here, we don't know what we don't know. And they can only know the things that they experience or the things that they read. And so maybe you have something that they've not experienced before. And they're just, going on what they know. Joanne, with an IV. What do you mean, Joanne? What with an IV? I don't know the question. So go ahead and follow up so I can answer you. When you get to the peak, you get an AKG? You mean an EKG? Here they do EKGs, where they put those monitors on your heart and they see how your heart rate and all that. They do that too. Oh, you mean the CT scan? There is no contrast. Did they do contrast? I don't think there's a contrast because it's not a normal CT scan. What did I say? It's like a CT calcium score. It's a CT calcium score, and I don't believe they did it. I'm pretty sure they did not do it with contrast or with an IV. I would say I'm like 98% sure. I'll have to double check on that. If it's different, I will let you know, but I am pretty sure that they did not do an IV and they did not. It was quick. You go through and it's very loud and all that, but I don't think I had an IV. It's been a couple of years. Yeah, Charlene, exactly. If you're not getting the warm fuzzies from your doctor, move on or ask them more questions. Hey, Tebow! Oh no, can you not see me? So you had a stress test done and it peaked, so then they gave you an EKG. Yeah, you might want to consider getting that calcium score done, and that way you can see just how clogged or not clogged your arteries are. I think that's fascinating. They have so many tests that I didn't even know were available. It's absolutely crazy. And, you don't know what you don't know. You can't take advantage of tests that you don't know they even exist. So I'm happy to bring you the things that I've learned and the things that I do, because cholesterol, heart disease is a concern, primarily because my grandfather had it, my mother now has it, all of her siblings are on statins with high cholesterol, so it is something that I watch. I will say that our lifestyles are very different. My mother did not exercise. My mother smoked for a very, very long time. She doesn't smoke now. She stopped. And so our lifestyles are just very, very different. And you know what? I'm also 50% somebody else. I'm 50% my dad. So on my dad's side, there isn't heart disease. So I also have to take that into consideration. Hey, Ginger, nice of you to join us. So ask away. Ask me if there's any other questions. I will come back on and look and see if you guys have any other questions. Let me know. For those of you who have high cholesterol, let me know if you currently take statins or if you don't, and if not, why. If you do, why you decided to take them. That might help some people who are on the fence trying to decide one way or another. And if you do or don't, are you going to maybe get some follow-up testing done? So let me know. Let me know what you're doing. And let me know, please let me know if you find out any other information than what I've already shared with you. Because the only way we can learn is if we share what we get, what we find out from other places. And this is a great place to share it. All right, we'll see you later, Melissa. So yes, please share so that we can all be educated and make the best decisions we can for our health. Anyway, I don't want to keep you too long. It's a beautiful day here. I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you're at. And then I will be back at you next month. I cannot believe that we are already in June, ladies. 6 months have passed. It's mind-blowing to me, really, how quickly time is flying. Now, so I have to leave you with this, because my mom is a practical joker, but she has told me that there is a reason why, as we age, we find that the time goes by quicker and quicker every year. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. When you are 2, a year is half your life. But when you are 52, it's a 52nd of your life. So that's why as we age, according to my mom, time seems to go by so much faster. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts on that one. Is she pulling my leg, or does it make sense to you? And with that, I just want to say I hope you're having a stupendous, silly, soulful Sunday, and I am looking forward to talking to you next month. Until then, see ya.